Well then, Doctor Who fans, how are we doing today? Well, depends on what you think and what you actually want to happen with Doctor Who. At this point, I think the real fans of us here want it to be canceled. This era has been a disaster. These people have done terrible things that it's tough. And this is the part that makes it really hard as a fan of any of these franchises. When you add this like woke gay stuff to everything, it's like the famous adage says, and pardon my French here, you can't unsuck a dick, right? And so that's the problem. Is if you guys remember that, do you guys remember that reference? Give me the movie in the description below if you do. But that's kind of where we're at now, and you're never going to see the Doctor the same way because he's been making out with men instead of going on adventures and fighting the good fight and having cool science fiction concepts. So you can't come back from that. And that's the tough part. Even though the last couple of episodes have been much better than what we saw in the first season of Russell T Davies' return, it's not working out very well. There was a slight ratings uptick, but it's not enough to move the needle. I think we are going to see a full cancellation this year. And I think it's going to start dipping back down again. I'll get into this news in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all things Doctor Who and science fiction. Really appreciate you for being here, guys. And I'm a science fiction writer myself. That's how I know a lot of these concepts. If you watch my reviews of the episodes, I'm honest about it. Even when there's like, I get it. I'm not one of those people who just hates to hate. When there's good things, I say it's good. When there's bad things, I say it's bad. And that's what makes us a little different here because I just care about things from the writing perspective. And I hope you'll check out my series. This is called The Orion War. It starts with The Stars Entwined. It's a 3-book trilogy. Well, I guess all trilogies would be 3-book trilogies. But it's about a human who embeds himself on an alien starship in the middle of a giant war. And he's trying to bring back information to save Earth. And it ends up with a big personal entanglement, which gets really cool. I built a beautiful world, and we're going to be doing a lot more in this universe. So it's a great time to get on. So please grab this in the description below. Support our books, guys. Support real science fiction. This is where it's at. It's available on ebook, print, or audio, all the above to make it easy for you. And I appreciate you guys for reading. So next week, we got Ruby Sunday returning. Now, Millie Gibson, of course, has been out as the companion. They decided to double down on diversity, adding Virata Sethu. If you watched Andor, I know why Russell T Davies hired her at this point. I figured it out over the weekend. Because in Andor, she was the of course diversity hire there, who not only was like the Indian lady to add that like extra flavor of brownness, but they made her into a lesbian in that too, right? And they did this whole subtle Disney lesbianism where they're just like, "This is why you love me," and they like hold hands for a moment. And that's how far they're willing to go on a Disney program, right? But they want to push it anyway because they're stunning and brave, yeah. And so Russell T Davies, he loves to hire the gay. And if you've seen this season's Doctor Who writers lineup, every single person in the writer's room is a gay person. It's like, that's overrepresentation. It's like, 3% of the population, and yet it's 100% of your writer's room. And so that's what he does, and that's exactly why he brought Sethu into this whole situation. Millie Gibson was one of the only nice things to watch out of the show last year. The one episode where Ncuti Gatwa wasn't in it, and she had this horror sort of episode, was the only compelling episode of the whole season. Really sad, and of course that he botched the ending of that. He went full lazy on writing of it, but he's bringing her back right now, and I guess they're doing another horror thing like last year, where the Doctor's kind of not in it to kind of recapture that, because again, what do? You got to have an episode without Ncuti Gatwa to, of course, make things more interesting for the show. And this is interesting. When you have 8 episodes a season and you use 2 episodes without your main character, you're telling something really big, that the main character is not what people like out of the show. And that's exactly what's hit the Doctor Who ratings really, really hard so far. So that's where we're at right now. This is where we started in 2024. For some comparison, our overnight ratings for the episodes were at 2.6 million. This is when people are tuning in for the premiere to see what's going on. It goes up. This is what they did at the beginning of the season, too. They go, oh, just wait for iPlayer numbers to come in, because the overnight ratings just show people watching on TV, and the iPlayer numbers are much, much better. So this is the +7, and so it gets up here. The premiere got up there a little bit. And then it just kept dropping. Now, these are still the lowest numbers for any Doctor Who episode ever. Now, of course, this iPlayer stuff is a way that they're mitigating this and saying this. These are still the lowest numbers ever. Episode 5 ended up being the lowest number ever for a Doctor Who episode, with episode 7 and the overnights getting very dangerously close to under 2 million people watching, which was kind of wild. Now, we hit that milestone finally. This is a record. It's breaking records, guys. This is diverse and inclusive. It's the first ever time that we've had this go on. Yes, episode 2 hit with 1.58 million. Look at this. The plus 7's down to 3 million. Wow. So more people tuned in for the premiere, and a huge drop-off. And I've never seen drop-offs like this. This percentage drop-off is the scary marker, because the people who are coming back for season 2, you're already at your basis low, right? At 3.5 million. This is what your low episodes were at last year, because people have already tuned in. They already checked out the Gatwa Doctor. They know they don't like it, so they don't come back. Those people are not coming. And so for the season premiere, you get a few people back who are like, it's a premiere, maybe I'll check it out. But it's not new. It's not a first season, so people are not coming in on that, right? And so this is a real problem just from the start, and then boom, the bomb of such a huge drop-off. Now, there's a little bit of a reason for the huge drop-off, and you see it last year's numbers too, between episodes 3 and then 4. This was the Easter season week, right? And so it went way down because of that. Now, it did eventually get back to this because nobody really liked this show, but that drop-off happened at that point for that reason. That's exactly what we got here, and that's why we see an uptick for episode 3. Incidentally, episode 3, its uptick right after Easter, was very similar in tone and substance to the Stephen Moffat episode, which got that boost last year as well. Very interesting stuff right there. And so this got people back a little bit from the 2 million, but you see it's not going up, and it's going to keep going down from this 1.86 million even after this point. Now, the big deal is the number that came in. This plus 4 screen is down to 3 million total. You see nothing like that here on the plus 4 screen last year, and they're not even giving the plus 7 TV only numbers yet, which is pretty wild too. So this is a record. Episode 2 of Doctor Who Season 2 with Gatwa is officially the lowest watched, least watched episode of Doctor Who ever of all time. And these iPlayer numbers are not telling a better story like they pretended it was last year. You've seen a lot of silence from the camp of Russell T. Davies and the media, who are all trying to shill for this, all trying to say it was a lie that the ratings were bad last year. They were lying the entire time to you. Everybody I've seen talking about this, and there's not many people talking about Doctor Who anymore, are saying that this show is bad, that they don't like it, that they don't like the direction. Even the non-political people I see, it's like, it's just not good. I want it to be good. And that's where the discussion is at on this sort of show. Like I said, episodes 2 and 3 have been the best episodes of this like arc season so far, but there's no way they can like come back from this because it's already too late. They've already pushed the gay agenda too far. The LGBTQ stuff, the diversity stuff, the critical race theory stuff all the way around, the anti-white narratives that they had and things, the planet of the incels. There's people that are just never going to tune back in after that kind of stuff because it's so offensive as a viewer. You got to remember, Russell T. Davies, that most of your audience are white, male, middle-aged people. So when you say those people are bad in your actual messages of your episodes, well, yeah, they're going to tune out, you moron. And you're not going to get this young people demographic that you keep saying is coming back in, but there's no evidence that they're actually showing this up. I bet you if you take a poll of young people right now, in Britain even, ask them if they've ever watched a Doctor Who. Well, we've seen there have been a poll of this. They'll say no, or they'll go, what's that? Because it's just not getting anywhere. And this is exactly what's happening at this point. So we do see a little uptick for episode 3. The reason 2 dropped so far is because it was the Easter week for sure. But that drop number probably would have been at about 1.86 from episodes 1 to episode 2 if there were natural numbers after Easter week. And unfortunately, they didn't come back and watch it on their streaming app later or iPlayer or whatever. They clearly didn't, because this is some of the biggest drop ever. People didn't care. People were done with it, and that's what it shows. So all these numbers are going to keep dropping again from episode 3 forward. There's no path back at this point. And we're going to for sure see a cancellation after this. The question is what happens next. They really have to erase continuity, because keeping things going from this, from the woman doctor, even with all that, you can't. You have to go back. The Doctor Who has a massive problem where you can't just keep it going forward at this juncture. I like I said, you just can't. You can't undo it. You can't unsee what we've seen, and that just leaves a bad taste going forward. They gave themselves an out, though. They really did, because David Tennant, bi-generated off, and he still exists. So you could say that's the real Doctor, and this is some kind of like fake Doctor. We've talked about bringing back the Valeyard in that level before. I think it'd work. I think fans would accept that, and I think it'd be pretty good, be a decent story. I'm here to write it, BBC, if you guys want to fix things going forward. I'll be your showrunner, and I'll make Doctor Who great again. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out my books on Amazon if you like great science fiction. This is the great spot for you. Grab it in the description below. We'll be back soon.